The Tomb Raider Remastered Trilogy is finally here. Following a huge wave of game remasters and remakes created over the last few years, from Crash Bandicoot to Resident Evil and even Spyro the Dragon, Lara has finally been brought into the mix. For gamers of the 21st century by US-based developer and publisher Aspyr Media. The collection was announced seemingly out of nowhere on September 14th, 2023 during a Nintendo Direct presentation, teasing polished visuals and what appeared to be a faithful remake of the original 3 Tomb Raider games. The game releases on February 14th, 2024, which, as any die-hard Tomb Raider fan would know, is Lara's birthday. Cute. But does the Remastered Trilogy have the touch of Midas? Let's find out. In this review, I will be covering the first level of each game in depth, breaking down different aspects from controls, sound, visuals, and overall thoughts. So without further ado, let's dive in. Just looking at the main menu for Tomb Raider 1, I'm completely blown away. Lara looks stunning and the music is as incredible as ever, which has also been remastered by the original Tomb Raider composer Nathan McCree. Sound options now have subtitles available, which is always a welcome feature for accessibility. And while you're not able to control the text font size, the subtitles still feel perfectly legible. The controls feature allows you to remap buttons, switch between classic tank controls and modern controls, as well as toggle some minor quality of life options such as walk to action and action indicators. This would have been a massive help for me as a 9-year-old, as I did not know Lara could push and pull objects. Yes, I was stuck for hours in Vilcabamba. One of the key features shown off in the initial announcement for the Remastered Trilogy was the ability to switch between original graphics and updated graphics. I'm happy to report that it can be done in the pause and main menus as well, bringing back the slight pixelation of text and the original menu screens. Another fun addition to the Remastered Trilogy is the inclusion of the classic Tomb Raider add-ons, Unfinished Business, Golden Mask, and The Lost Artifact. This add-on wasn't available to console players at the time, allowing new fans to prolong Lara's adventures like never before. The FMVs have also had a high-def facelift, but if you really want to keep it old school, the graphics toggle option also affects the FMVs, should you want some of that classic pixel feel. So we start the adventure in the caves of Peru, and one of the first things I notice is the snow glistening, Lara's breath against the cold air, snowflakes falling through gaps in the ceiling. The remastered version of the first installment now includes the jump twist maneuver, originally introduced in Tomb Raider 2, and was a very nice surprise to find added. Visually, the cold colour tones of grey, blue and white really gives the player a sense of frosty isolation. As you go further into the cave, this shifts to a slightly warmer feel with vines and greenery growing, and with the power of modern systems now visible and flourishing 3D. Seamlessly being able to shift between the original graphics and remastered, it was somewhat jarring, as the original look felt like the frame rate went along with it, even though it was still showing at a continuous 160 FPS. But still, the ability to switch graphics on the fly is awesome. Even with the new graphics, controlling Lara was a breeze using the tank control scheme, as I was still able to judge her steps for upcoming jumps. I did give the modern controls a chance, but as a classic Tomb Raider gal, I did not like how the modern controls felt at all. Moving Lara with 3D controls using the analog sticks or the D-pad just felt too foreign to me, so I continued using traditional tank controls. The control scheme is somewhat divisive for some fans and common complaints in how she moves, so I'm definitely curious to know if the modern control scheme will appease a newer generation of fans. Going through the level, it appears like for like, and yes speedrunners, that includes the glitches. That's right friends, you can still perform all the wall bugs, QWOP and corner bugs as before, which is where the ability to toggle the graphics really come into play, as that can help with visual setups as needed to perform such tricks. Which comes to my next point, the inventory screen. Originally, when you entered the inventory screen, you could see the game in the background. In the remasters, the background is a solid black even when you toggle, with the exception of Tomb Raider 2. If you toggle to the original graphics in TR2, the menu has the red patterned background. The remastered menu doesn't. It's a small observation, not a deal breaker by any means, but when you go into so much detail that you can see Pierre's cuticles and the letter N etched into his weapons, surely having a revamped menu isn't too much to ask. So not too much to add on here in terms of visuals aside from it looking incredible. There are a few things I want to point out about the enemies. As the game starts, Lara is airdropped off into the Great Wall of China, where she encounters tigers, eagles, spiders, and not one, but two ferocious T-Rexes. The spiders are not exactly tiny, but I noticed that they are either really tanky or really good at evading Lara's bullets. Normally you can swiftly dispose of the arachnids in around 5 shots. However, they have definitely had an upgrade because it was taking more like 15 plus just to get rid of one. This wasn't consistently the case, but it feels like they added 1 or 2 more to the mix as well. The T-Rexes guarding the Golden Dragon secret now have a health bar visible, but only when you're using the remastered graphics. It seems that enemies considered boss tier have the health bar, which to me is neither here nor there, but it is nice to know how quickly they can be defeated. In terms of glitches for speedruns, I'm not as familiar with Tomb Raider 2, so I can't comment too much on it with one exception. Tomb Raider 2 introduces flares to light up super dark areas in the game, which there are quite a few, and extremely dark on the console versions compared to the PC. On the console there is a dedicated button, L2, to light and or throw a flare. In the remaster, nope. There is no dedicated button, nor can you assign one. If you're using a keyboard as your control method, then the default flare key is comma, but for some reason it is not available with a controller. This is annoying for the speedrun in particular, as you use what's called a flare cancel often, which cancels Lara's fall or stumble animation by throwing a flare at the right time. It's a weird oversight for controller users, and is the same for Tomb Raider 3. So controller speedrunners, get ready to use some custom remapping software. Finally, we move on to the third installment. My least favourite of the trilogy, and well, so far just playing the first level, the remaster is no different. It all came flooding back to me how overwhelming the first level of Tomb Raider 3 felt, just like it did the first time I played it. Though the environment made me feel hot, humid, and definitely has a lot more depth by adding 3D plants. Maybe this new lease of life will change my mind as I go further into the game, and I'm definitely curious to know if the kayak section has been improved, because let's be honest, the kayak was infuriating. One interesting feature the remaster has over the original installments: photo mode. I've never really messed around with photo mode much in other games, but I'm definitely intrigued by the options available here. In the remaster you can choose from a variety of outfits to dress up Lara in from all 3 games, including various facial expressions and poses for that perfect shot. Zooming in, you can really see how much detail and care has gone into this project, and I definitely appreciate being able to view the games in such incredible detail, which is how I found out about Pierre taking care of his nails and Natala's N etched in his guns. In conclusion, the Tomb Raider Remastered trilogy is a shining example of how to breathe new life into beloved classics. With stunning visuals, enhanced gameplay, and a wealth of additional content, it's a must-have for fans old and new. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video for more content like this, and follow me on twitch.tv/geekygonewilds for live streams, speedruns, and more.
Don't you think you've seen enough?